Welcome to Geneva, Switzerland and the World Health Organization, where we have gathered for a 3-day consultation on traditional medicine. Traditional medicine encompasses a wide variety of practices and therapies which vary from country to country and region to region. In some areas, it is known as complementary and alternative medicine, or CAM.
There is no active effort to monitor these medicines simply because there are no tools to support these processes. And by tools I mean we do not have dictionaries, we do not have classification systems. And so even if we would want to measure them and we would proactively set up programs to measure them, there are no supporting tools to enable that process. And therefore there is no data on the adverse events that could occur with medicines such as traditional medicines.
Alternative medicine has been used by 2/3 of Australians on an annual basis. However, the benefit of such use is not documented, simply because they don't have a system to record any benefit.
The current situation is the traditional medicine information is concealed, not obvious.
In Japan, the statistics situation for traditional medicine is a kind of a disaster situation. There would be no statistics, I would say. Maybe just the market size for the traditional medicine or something like that.
Herbal medicine must be very, very important in China. And if you ask for data about how really important it is, they can, well, I've seen some data on a poster, but let's say real monitoring of what is going on in that market and how the traditional medicines compare to the Western ones in terms of volume, in terms of outcome, in terms of why some product is used for one indication and another product for another indication, or why they are combined together. They don't have that data yet.
Traditional medicine will not count unless we count it.
One of the primary goals of this meeting was to discuss the international classification of traditional medicine. The ICTM is proposed as a new member of the WHO family of international classifications and will join other products such as the International Classification of Disease.
So, for example, right now, there are so many different projects going on in the world. Korea has their own independent terminology and China has an independent one. But at this point, there's similar kind of ideas, but we cannot really compare the data from one country to another.
For our traditional medicine, the standardization is the most important task for us. So, to make a kind of standard in the field of traditional medicine, we should have our own standard terminology. 5 years ago, we started to dream about developing the ICTM, International Classification of Traditional Medicine. From this year on, in Korea, we are using the KCD-OM3. It includes the ICD-10 and also traditional disease name and the traditional pattern name.
In Japan, more than 80% of physicians use Kampo medicine in daily practice. But there's no data in the government about Kampo. So that's why I made the codes and coding rule, and we will try from now. But ICTM project will promote us to code the Kampo medicine in Japan, and also the Japanese government supports it a lot.
Our national standard, GB95, has been established for more than 10 years, from 1995, and according to the data we collected from our National Surveillance Center, there's more than 5 billion cases we get it from the database.
This project will allow us to code medicines, including traditional medicines, and which in turn would allow us to record the adverse events associated with all medicines and also traditional medicines. And if we can record it, it allows us to measure the extent of adverse events that could occur with these kind of medicines, and ultimately to provide a better care for patients who would be using these medicines. So that is our interest in the project.
So by developing an ICTM, that will enable us to compare data within different countries.
The ICTM is projected to parallel the ICD and will outline diagnostic pattern names and treatment properties used by practitioners of traditional, complementary, and alternative medicine, which have historically not been included in the ICD.
I'm very excited because in a long history of ICD, so there has not been traditional medicine at all. But this may lead to make the traditional medicine to be one of the part of the mainstream medicine in the world.
Before we could not, compare the people or treatment or diagnosis or something. If we have a terminology standardized, we could do that. And also, we could make survey if we have a standardized classification. It makes scientifically the traditional medicine could be improved very profoundly, really.
We want to know why was a particular medicine used, what was the intended use for that particular patient. But then we also need to know if something went wrong in the treatment. What was it that went wrong?
This massive undertaking will include not only a systematic classification of terminology, but the definitions as well. All of traditional medicine knowledge will be represented in a standard way for use in computerized applications.
When we do get information, we need to be able to store it in databases. We need to be able to classify and group the information. We need to be able to analyze it. And also from the international perspective where I work, we want to be able to exchange information between different countries and between regions in the world. And in order to be able to exchange data and information, you need to have a common language.
This classification should be an international one created under the auspices of WHO. I think it's an extremely exciting development. I particularly value the input from the clinical groups from the participating countries so far.
I really trust the working group and topic advisory group because they are very knowledgeable, very intelligent and very skilled people in the field of traditional medicine. So I'm really sure that they can make this work in time.
There will be a platform to enable people exchange information globally with no understanding and allow us to capture the better data.
I think there will be a benefit for the traditional medicine practitioners who will be provided with a tool that they haven't had so far. There will be benefits for the traditional medicine patients in that there will be more rigour to the collection of data about the traditional medicine interventions. I think there'll be benefits too for the practitioners of Western medicine to allow greater exposure of traditional medicine practices and to improve the understanding between Western medical and traditional medical practitioners.
Our experts also began the critical task of designing the content model, a necessary step for the systematic and standardized representation of traditional medicine knowledge. In short, the consultants went through the work plan and discussed, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And who is going to do what? We now have a roadmap that will carry us through May 2014, when we will have a product that brings parity to traditional medicine when compared to other types of medicine.
And I hope that a classification system that works for traditional medicines, and not only in one country but across many countries, if we can create that system and make it work, then we have taken a big step on the way where we would like to go.
We hope that through this project we would develop tools which would support our work in monitoring medicines, including traditional medicines.
When ICTM is completed and effectively implemented, this will change the way the healthcare system understands the role of traditional medicine.
Be sure to stay informed as this innovative classification and terminology product moves from the planning stage into reality.